Okay, it looks like we are up and running. Have 21 viewers, so what questions do you guys have about Worlds? I've got a few comments from the peanut gallery already, so that's going good. So the first question, do I have the stage count and round count done? And yes, we do. Our stages are approved. Let me pull up those numbers. We'll have 15 stages this year, and if I remember correct, it's a round count of 236, but I will verify that real quick. Yeah, I believe it's 236. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. We looking forward to being back at CMP. It's been, 3 years now with that gap we have. Last time I was in Talladega, I was a CSO, so looking forward to returning as match director. The competitors shooting on Thursday are going to have to get it all done in one day, so that's going to be a big day for them. Our competitors on Friday and Saturday will get the luxury of 2 days. Is there going to be a warm-up stage? Yes. This year we will have a warm-up stage and a cool-down stage at the beginning and end of the match. Make sure I don't miss any comments. Not seeing any more comments. Hopefully they're still coming through. Yes, the warm-up and the cool-down stages are in the 15 stages. If everybody remembers at CMP, because of state law, we can't start shooting till 9 a.m. and with a 6:30 sunset, we had to make a decision on balancing the number of stages with the number of hours of daylight. We really want to avoid shooting in the dark this year. Want everybody to have the same stage presence and not have to worry about low light situations. Comments are coming in quick now. Comment, are there any super secret special prizes like the one I earned in 2019? I'm not aware of any yet. As far as I know, I'm the only person to earn a DQ prize, so I guess maybe we'll have to look at that needs to be revised or not. I can go into more detail on that if we get slow enough. What do I suggest is the best way to get started? Started for the match. I guess everybody has their own preference and style. You really need to be prepared for a faster paced match. We do have to get 2 stages done every hour to be able to meet our timeline and not have everybody shoot in the dark. Let's see here. When will the waitlist entries be stopped? I'll have to reach out to the HQ staff. I believe it's the end of July, but I'll have to verify. Let's see here. Waitlist. Will I be kidnapped in any stages this time? I'm not aware of any person specifically being kidnapped in these stages. Show us your car. I can. I'll have to run all the way upstairs if you really want me to do that. I will do that here shortly. Is there going to be t-shirts covering the targets? Yes, we will have some t-shirts on some targets this year. There won't be a whole lot of them, but there will be a few for you to contend with. It's tough keeping up with all these. I've got a question on first-time shooter for Nationals or World. Will there be a general theme, or will the stages design test most skill sets? Yes. We try to set up these stages so that there are options available where a first-time shooter or someone who is just getting into the sport can enjoy it, yet there are some challenging shooting positions and angles that the higher level shooters can chase after to get that best time on a stage. Let's see here. I didn't run up and get my car yet. I feel awkward doing that. Make sure I get all the comments. Okay. Will the Alabama pneumatic activators be back? Yes, we will be using the pneumatic activators this year on a couple stages. They provide a very repeatable pattern that's easy for us to keep consistent and minimizes reset time so the stages can be reset and flow very smoothly. Any stages where lights may be needed. I always recommend you bring a light to a match. You never know if we'll have to shoot in the dark and you'll need that flashlight to be able to see the target. So I always recommend you bring a flashlight. I'm scrolling down through here. Have a question. Do I know if PCC carts are allowed on the range? Yes, PCC carts are allowed on the range, just like any pistol competitor uses a cart to haul around all their gear. I have no issue with that. Next question I have, is there any strong hand, weak hand? And I'm going to have to look. I don't recall. Apparently I have drawn a blank. But I'm sure we always have some strong hand, weak hand stuff. It would just be wrong not to have that. Actually, I believe it's on the warm up and the cool down stages. Okay, I'm seeing kind of a break in the comments. This is every year this is a tough and challenging match, not only for the competitors and staff because of the short timeline, but I guess ask you guys to keep in mind that this is a volunteer-based sport. Without the CSOs and SOs out there working this match, we couldn't have it. So I just want to remind everybody to be appreciative and thank the staff on each bay because they are working very hard for you to have an outstanding match. Are there any stages where we have to shoot a gun provided by the stage? Like, do we have to shoot a revolver or a PC firearm? There are no drop guns in this match. You will use your firearm the entire match. You won't have to worry about using anybody else's rifle or pistol. Seeing if I'm missing any comments. They were coming in pretty hard there for a minute. not seeing any. Let's see here. Some of the other topics we wanted to talk about. I'm happy to announce that the match is full. We have 3 days full of competitive shooters, so it'll be a great match with hopefully a lot of good competition for everybody to go through. What do you think the weather may look like for competitors? I don't know. The 2 years I worked at CMP, I got dumped on both years. 1 year it was bad for the staff. We actually got dumped on hard during staff shoot, and it was beautiful weather for the competitors. And the next year it was the opposite. So it's really a crapshoot. So I would have rain gear with me and be ready to shoot in all types of weather, because we will have to continue shooting to get the match done on time and not be shooting in the dark. How did we approach stage design this year? So for stage design this year, I really opened it up to the CSOs that were selected to submit stages. I find that a CSO that has some ownership in the design and how the stage is laid out, they enjoy it more, they have more passion, and it becomes a great stage for everybody to use. The methodology we used this time was, doing that balance. We all love those complicated, challenging stages, but some of them just can take way too long to shoot. So we really looked at a bay. If we had, on the left stage was something very complicated, the right stage was something very simple. Really we did that for 2 reasons. One, it's a lot of information for a competitor to absorb. And then 2, it helps balance that timeline so that, we can have that 1 hour turnaround on our stages. Let's see here. Are we going to have the possibility to have a warm-up or training bay the day before the match? No, we will not have any training bays available this year at CMP. Good question. Why are the squads capped at 8? Seems pretty small. The reason we did that is actually there'll be 16 competitors in each bay, but we broke it up in 2 squads so it's easier for you to know where you're going to start. We found when we had a large squad of 16 and each bay they were getting split up differently, there'd be confusion on which side they were starting on. So by splitting them up in 8, we have 8 competitors on the left stage, 8 competitors on the right, and we have all 8 competitors go through the left stage, all competitors go through the right stage. Of course, we're running them in tandem. At the end of that, we'll actually switch, give an updated stage briefing so everybody has a chance to get their understanding of the stage and not have to try to remember 2 stages at once. And then we shoot all 8 through each stage, and then you move on to the next bay. So there are 16 in each bay. We just broke it up into 8, so it's a logistics thing. Let's see here. Never been to the location. Are there restrooms within every 3 stages? This is important for us older folks. Yes, I do believe, I've got to go back in my memory here, I do believe there were the porta potties along the bay line, and then there is down the hill a full-blown restroom. We'll have to check into that, but I'm pretty sure we have enough restrooms for everybody. Question, is there any particular skill you suggest we hone between now and October? Reloads, build drills, movers, etc. I think we have a little bit of everything in this match. We're going to have some challenging long distance shots. We're going to have the burn them down stages. Really, I suggest you focus on your area of weakness. Everybody has one. Some people can't hit movers. Some people can't hit their reloads when they need to. That long distance shot really scares them. that's something you work on. But I do have some good news. I have one skill you don't have to work on. I can guarantee at this match that nobody will miss the steal. So you don't need to practice that at all. Just work on everything else. Well, thank you, Patrick, for the shout out. I appreciate that. How many stages won't require a vest? I don't think I have a count on that, but we typically require a vest on every stage. I don't think we have one that doesn't. I'll have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure we require a vest for everything. Let's see here. So got a good question here. How do we work as a match director team? As everybody knows, a match is not put on by one person. The match director isn't the only one getting everything done. I think I've been very fortunate here with this group. I have HQ helping me with a lot of logistic things. So myself and the AMDs, Brent Sizemore and Noel Gardner, really were able just to focus on the stages and the layout and the flow of the match. As I mentioned earlier, we had CSOs submit stages. From those stages, we worked as a team and picked the stages that we liked best. Then we definitely had an open forum on suggestions and thoughts on how to improve it, and really did a democracy on establishing how we can make these stages better, what things do we think are lacking, and of course comply with the rule book. So I think we did a good job. I think everybody's going to enjoy it, and I really appreciate all the help I got from Noel and Brent. Let's see here. Back to my... of course, everybody knows our main sponsor this year is Beretta. I think they've been our sponsor for the last couple of years. Really looking forward to seeing them all again. I do believe they're going to have a demo bay set up so we all can try their wonderful firearms and maybe make a purchase or two, because keep in mind, without sponsors, it's very difficult to have a match. I think this is true from a Tier 2 to a Tier 5 match. You need those sponsors to help cover those expenses so we can make a match that is reasonable for our competitors and hopefully provides a value to our sponsors. So I do ask, take the time, especially your competitors on Friday, Saturday, when you're downtime. Go see the sponsors, spend a little time with them, get to learn their products, and show their appreciation, or show your appreciation for them coming out here and spending all the time and energy they do. We were very fortunate this year. I think, I can't remember the number. We had 80 or 90 applicants for staff this year, and that really made it a tough challenge for us to select. When you're looking at CSOs, you're trying to identify ones who have demonstrated they have the ability to not only run a bay and run a staff, but have the ability to adapt and identify those little efficiencies that are needed to make a bay run well. That's probably one of the hardest things that we run into at this match with the number of stages we're trying to complete in one day. Is you have to have a group of CSOs that one are willing to can identify or adapt to any issues that come up, to keep identifying those efficiencies that save you 10 seconds, 15 seconds, so that the bay runs well. When it comes to the SOs, and the CSOs, they obviously need to know the rules, but they have to have that personality that works well in the match. No one likes going into a bay that's got a drill instructor that is just pounding on you to pace, move, reset. You need to have an enjoyable match for everybody. So it's trying to find that balance between personality, knowledge, and ability. And then the other problem we always run into is it's a tough match, so that you've got to be able to be on your feet for 3 days straight. We really don't want to have any downtime. Is it possible for the staff to paste during the one day? To pasting? I guess I don't understand the question on Thursday. I believe it's trying to say, is it possible for staff to do the pasting during the one-day match? Unfortunately not. We need everybody's help to do the pasting of the targets. If the staff was the only one able or doing the taping of targets, we would never get done in time. We would definitely be shooting in the dark. So we will continue to ask everybody's help in the pasting of targets. It is the most important thing for us to keep the match running smoothly. I've got a question in regards to total number of stages, so I'll just cover it again. We have 15, and I see a question on A, B, and C zones. I'm not sure what those are. Our targets will have down zeros, down ones, and down threes, so we should be good to go in that aspect. Let's see here. Scrolling back through the comments, make sure I don't miss anything. What's one piece of advice for a shooter to prep for the World Championship? What would it be? You know, the one thing I always lack at is probably one of the most important things is doing a lot of dry fire practice. You know, to say there's one skill set that will take you above and beyond in this match, I don't believe that's the case. I think we have a lot of challenging stages that really are going to affect all skill sets. So, you know, and everybody I talk to, dry fire is the key to becoming a better competitor. So I would really suggest you focus on a lot of that stuff. Going prone. You know, you think I'd have these stages memorized after looking at them 300 or 400 times. Unfortunately, I also have duties as an AC, so all the stages kind of blur together. So I don't believe we have anything going prone, but I wouldn't count on that. Okay, hitting a little lull here. Let's see what else I want to talk about. Yes. Got a couple more questions that came in. Can competitors' ammo be shipped to CMP? Absolutely it can. If you look in your notifications from Practice Score, it talks about the process you need to follow to ship ammo. Granted, as always, it's at your risk and at your peril, but yes, absolutely you can ship to CMP. What lessons did I learn? Let's see here. What lessons learned did you get passed down to you from the past match director? Let's see here. Past match director was Seth Hayden. Probably the biggest thing that Seth continues to tell to me is I can't take it all myself. That's probably one of my personal weaknesses. I'm not very good at delegating, but I've listened to his advice and am definitely going to take that into consideration. See here, I have a question. Will TechWear match jerseys be available for purchase? I believe there are pre-orders out there for purchasing match jerseys if you want to. I also see that we also have championship shirts and hoodies available at IDPA.com. So if that's something you're interested in, I recommend you go over there and talk to them. Let's see here. this is a lot to manage to try to keep track of all this stuff. I'm surprised how much this is bouncing around, but doing my best here, so have some patience with me. Yes, one good point from one of our commenters is probably the biggest thing for anybody who hasn't shot in CMP, and especially some redneck from Wyoming. Kitty, are you listening? Wyoming, is to stay hydrated. We are blessed out here with a little less humidity and not such high temperatures, so that's probably one of the biggest challenges we see, both for our staff on trying to stay hydrated and our competitors. So please make sure you have plenty of water. Is there a fantasy IDPA World Championship? Do you have a top 10? I guess I don't know how to answer that. I have not been in the sport as long as some of other people here. I started shooting IDPA in 2014 with my local club. I think the first major match, Tier 5 match I attended was Indoor Nationals in Springfield, Massachusetts. Attended that with my wife. Had a great time. Made a mistake of at Indoor Nationals, you didn't have the luxury of being a spectator, so my wife had to shoot the first day and I shot the second day, if I remember correct. And so I got stuck sitting in this little coffee room staring at a wall, and after I don't know, an hour or two, I made the mistake of saying, "Hey, you got anything I can do? I'm kind of bored." And they asked if I was an SO, and I said yes, and that was my mistake. And that's how I got roped into a lot of this stuff. I worked Indoor Nationals a few years. The first Nationals I shot was in Crescent, Texas, and then I think the following year was, or maybe it was 2 years after that, was the only Worlds I've ever shot. That was with the PCC Nationals. So I'd have to say that's my favorite until this one happens, of course, and then this one will be my favorite. But we'll see how it goes. See if I missed any comments out there. Not seeing any. What other interesting tidbits do we have? Okay, what do I like most about IDPA? I know IDPA is a sport, and by no means is it a substitution for training and practicing, but the reason I got into IDPA was to improve my gun handling skills. I was a concealed carry holder. I did practice at the range. Most of the ranges we have out here allow you to stand and shoot. You know, there's no dynamic movement. A lot of them can say, you know, they're limiting on how much draw action you can do. So my wife and I really wanted to have an ability to improve our skills. She started the club up here in Cheyenne, and we started shooting it so we could improve our gun handling skills. And I can definitely say I saw improvement from it. I know it's just a little buzzer that goes beep, but it does create some stress for you. Granted, it's nothing like a real situation, but not being a good old boy from Wyoming and can be considered a little slow at times, I guess. I know that first time I had a malfunction with my firearm, you know, with that timer going, I kind of stared at it and went, yeah, I'm supposed to do something. Not sure what it is, but I'll figure it out 10, 20 seconds later. And now I see that, you know, my gun skill handles, you know, I have a malfunction. I know what to do, tap rack and go. And yeah, it's definitely improved my ability to shoot. So I can say I definitely got some value out of it. Question, will we have any cars to shoot out of this year? We will not be shooting out of any cars this year. We do have a so to speak, a car stage, but in evaluating the time that it takes for competitors to get in, get position, get out, we decided that was not a good luxury for us to have this year with our compressed time frame. So you will not have the luxury of shooting any out of any cars, and good news is you won't be able to DQ like I did and shoot a car. So life is good. Got a question about past matches and calls on penalties. I can't comment on those. I wasn't part of those. My instructions to my staff and the CSOs will be to follow the rule book. And of course, at any match, if you disagree with the call of the SO and the CSO, you can always call me or one of the AMDs over, and we will do our best to have a fair and consistent match. Got a question on our position cover. Yes, they will typically be laid down with a fault line. I do believe we are using wood strips there at CMP, so yes, they will be well defined for you. Will individual rehearsals during load and make ready incur a penalty? Thank you, Skip, for your question. I think you have a rule book, and I suggest you read up on it. Let's see if I missed any comments in the past here. Not seeing any. Go to my... I think we're very excited this year. I think we have a full roster of sponsors. And definitely looking forward to seeing everybody. We will be arriving the week of the 5th to start build and get competitors or get ready for competitors and have all of our staff shoot the match ahead of time. So everything should be worked out well by the time you get there. Good reminder coming across, if you do have questions on rules and equipment, we definitely recommend you reach out to your AC. They have the luxury of doing that, so please reach out to them. And anybody in the wonderful states of Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Alaska, and of course Colorado have the luxury of calling me. So hopefully you can find our numbers if you need any help. I know the help desk is happy to redirect questions for you. Let's see here if I've missed anything. See who okay, got some questions come in. It's a long lane of bays. Will there be people movers to get people back to stage 1? Yes, we will have people movers that will move you from bay B5 all the way to A1. There'll also be equipment check down in that area, so we've kind of got it set up where we have a single stage and equipment check next to each other, so you'll be able to, you have 2 squads of 8. One squad of 8 will get through and get to equipment check and all that stuff, so we can expedite people getting back to Bay 1 and hopefully have a smooth transition. Rudy, I see you have an equipment question. I really recommend you reach out to your AC. They're the ones best suited to answer your question, as opposed to online on a tight timeline where I don't have time to look at the rule book. What am I most excited about this year's match? It's I don't know. This is going to be my first time being match director for Worlds or Nationals, so I'm really hoping all my plans and schedules work out well. That's probably something that I was really focused with the last couple of years, being a AMD. I'm hoping I can provide you guys with an enjoyable match and yet meet our compressed timeline. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for from smiles from everybody, from all the competitors, saying it was an enjoyable match and they didn't have to shoot in the dark and they want to come back again another year. So that's probably what I'm most excited about, is be able to get more interaction with competitors and hopefully get some good war stories from the match that everybody can enjoy and laugh about in the evenings when we're all having an adult beverage to relax. Let's see here. Am I missing anything? What are the top 3 things when you consider when designing or shooting stages? You know, of course, you're always trying to follow the rules. When I'm designing a stages, it's a combination of things. I want to create challenging stages that require the shooter to think, options. I love having options in a stage where you can go left or go right, and they both have their pros and cons. So, when I'm designing a stage, not every stage you can do it on, but I always want to have some stages in my match that really create some options. A lot of risk and reward. You can go this way and have some long distance shots, but you can potentially save time. If you go this way, you can get closer to the target, and maybe the non-threats aren't as tight. At a local match, usually match flow isn't as a big deal, so you can do a little bit more on this one. Obviously, we did focus on match flow a lot. And then, probably when shooting the stages, I don't get the luxury of shooting this match for score, so when I shoot the stages, I'm going to have a totally different viewpoint. It's really trying to find those holes and plug them. On a personal level, when I'm shooting a stage, I'm trying to find that, I'm trying to push my skill set to try to, go for some more of those challenging shots that hopefully can give me a little more reward when I go through. By no means am I a master level shooter, so I have lots of area to grow that I'm trying to work on. Unfortunately, I've developed a bad habit where most matches I'm working, shooting as staff, and definitely found I've had a challenge of doing that shift from, okay, let's critique the stage and make sure it's good, to, okay, Frank, you got to get your game on. So that's something that I personally need to work on, but I know there's a lot of people out there that have absolutely no issue transitioning between the two, and I'm definitely impressed by them. Let's see here. What is the longest distance shot? Well, I could take a quick look at my stages and tell you. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I can look real quick. I show them to you, but that wouldn't be fair, so got to make it equal for everybody here. Definitely have some 15 yard shots, maybe even some 20-yard shots. We're definitely going to have some distance in this match. It's not all going to be up close and personal. We're going to have some stages where they're going to be right here in front of you, and the other ones you're going to have to take a moment and make sure you got a good sight picture. Of course, for the people using the dots, that's a little bit easier, but you're also competing against people who are using a dot. Have I missed anything? Let me see here. Boy, there's still 34 people on here listening to me. I'm impressed. I figured I would have bored you guys to death already. I think I answered that. What do I like most about IDPA? Don't have a fantasy league. Looks like we're running out of topics. When is the match book going to be available? I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it'll be released a few days before the match. We'll issue it out electronically through Practice Score, so you will have some time to review it and hopefully be able to get a good game going for your match. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate your not telling anybody when I show everybody the stages. What gun and division am I going to be shooting? As I mentioned, I don't get to shoot for score. Currently, I'm planning on shooting my SIG Legion in carry optics for the to troubleshoot the stages. I was fortunate enough to win that firearm when someone has brought up my bad incident at shooting a car and getting a DQ. After I ate my humble pie and accepted my prize, I was fortunate enough to sit back down and then get called back up because I had won a firearm. So I will be using that one for this match. Review, but set up and practice. What is my name for the favorite stage of this match? I would have to say, oh, that's a tough one. There's a couple stages that are going to be a lot of fun. I think my favorite name is a stage called Woolly Swamp. Not only was that presented by one of my AMDs, but I happen to be a big Charlie Daniels fan. So that brought me a lot of joy to have a stage called Woolly Swamp. Hopefully everybody will shoot it well and will enjoy it. Okay. Have I missed anything in the comments? I think I have everything. I'll scroll back down to the bottom. I think we definitely have a full match for everybody. We have lots of sponsors that are going to be there and vendors. It should be a great time. I really look forward to seeing everybody there. Hopefully you can say you enjoy the match and enjoy everything. What aspects or of your AMD personalities makes them easy to work with? That's a fun one to read. I don't know why I'm struggling reading right now. You know, my AMDs, I've only had the opportunity to work with Brent once. I feel like we had a great rapport. He was definitely someone willing to step up and chip in where need be, and that's the kind of personality I need in an AMD. We don't have the luxury of just sitting around the whole time. I know it looks like that. All you see is us driving back and forth in carts, looking like we're doing something important. But really, you know, we need someone who's proactively watching the stages, watching for issues, and is willing to step up and keep things going. Noel, I have known Noel for a lot of years. I do believe I met him at Indoor Nationals, but really got to meet him and know him working with him at CMP in 18 and 19, I believe. He's a great guy, willing to do anything, is a hard worker, but he definitely has that ability to identify weaknesses in a stage. I know I can rely on him to, if I say, hey, I need some help over here on this stage, he's going to get over there and help me and get everything running well. So definitely looking forward to working with both of them. They're great people. Let's see if I missed anything. Jason's a little late showing up. Jason, that means you have to give us a question. So, Jason Alexander, I need a question from you. That's not ruler related. How do I use Practice Score to help with the pace of the match? I find practice score is invaluable in running a match, and it's an interesting thing what practice score does on an Android product versus an Apple product are very different. But inside the Apple version, there is a match progress screen that really can help you identify, which bays are running slow or having issues. My CSOs are probably going to hate me by the end of the match, but I really focus on, I call them the splits. How long it takes to get in this situation, a person through the left stage and the right stage. Is that 2.5 minutes? Is that 3 minutes? Is it 2 minutes? Because that really helps us identify, which bay is struggling and is going to be the bottleneck of the match. Because regardless of how fast this stage runs over here, or this bay, your slowest bay is going to be how long your match takes. So I really utilize that extensively for monitoring match progress. However, that does create one heck of a burden on your scorekeeper. The guy running not the scorekeeper, but the stats guy. That means he's got to be syncing with those tablets almost continuously so that information can get pulled in and be utilized by myself and the other match directors to keep everything running smooth and great. Riding or flying. Jason, riding or flying? I don't imagine I'm going to ride the 1,400 miles to Talladega. That would probably take me 3 days, maybe 2. Currently, I do hope to be flying, but we'll see how things progress. Will there be accommodations for dealing with the humidity from Seth Hayden? I think your accommodations need to be provided by yourself. I know we'll have water on the range. In past years, I was lucky enough to have someone who had a battery-powered fan that probably kept me going through those 2 matches. So those are a good investment, and you'll actually see me have one even running around on the cart. What timers are going to be used? Xavier, I don't believe I know. I need to check into that. Lots of times we have CSOs who bring their own timers because they prefer to use them. And no, I do not believe the scores will be going out live. Those are some of those items that we still haven't worked through. We'll keep you posted on that. Let's see here. What surface are the bays? You're going to have a combination. Some have some grass that has taken root. There's going to be a lot of gravel that you're going to have to deal with, even some loose gravel. I do remember CMP that packs down pretty well, but there are still going to be some areas where you have to deal with some stuff. Especially if it rains, we're definitely going to have some slick surfaces. That we do have some clay in those bays, so it can definitely get slimy. Okay, I guess we're going to wrap up the questions. I still have a few moments left, but let's see if there's anything else. Is there power on the bays? No, I don't believe there is power on the bays. If I remember correct, I think they have power at the central scoring shack, but I don't remember power at each bay in past. But they may have made some upgrades that I'm not aware of. Any last questions before we call it a night? Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in. Looks like we still have some people online. Anybody have any final questions that they're just dying to ask that hopefully I can answer? What is your opinion on a Glock 34? Connor, I'll be honest with you, I've never had good luck with Glocks, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. So you might need to find a better expert than me on this. Is there Wi-Fi at the bays? I do not believe so. Not for public access. Who cuts my hair? Well, that's probably the most important question anybody could have asked today. Unfortunately, myself. I had the luxury of having a teenage daughter that kind of took out all of this, so I gave up and said, I'm done. And if anybody hears the noise in the background, that is my granddaughter making a bunch of noise, so I apologize. With that, I think we can... Connor, I haven't had the luxury of shooting a Beretta PX4, so maybe I'll have the luxury at this match. But I think we'll call it a night. I appreciate everybody's time. I look forward to seeing you at the match, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.